Hey man, good evening. I'm the owner of Depthless RPG, which is sitting at around 600 concurrent players, and I'm wondering if you could make a video showcasing it. It'd be really awesome, and you can be completely honest about it. I'd appreciate it a lot. Oh boy. Oh boy. You'll have to excuse my voice in this video. I'm still recovering from my sickness that I had in the B-game video. But regardless, I've gotten a fair few amount of people that come to me and they're like, hey Eclipse, here's my game. I made it. Please play it. And generally speaking, a lot of those comments I just completely ignore. And the reason I completely ignore them is for a very good reason. It's because a lot of the time when people suggest me games, I go and I play them and they're not very good. And I know they're not very good. And I'm like, if this person hasn't been able to figure out that this is not very good, then there's nothing I can do to help them. But this time around, I decided to give it a shot, because not only did they say that the game had around 600 concurrent players, which was true, but also they said that they wanted me to be honest about it. And oh boy, will I. Because, to let the cat out of the bag really quick, Depthless RPG is, it's a bad game. Yes, this is a bad video game. When I first started it up, I initially wanted to think that maybe this was one of those situations where they start making the game and they don't really have an idea of what they were going to make, and so they don't get very far into development and there's not a lot going on. But the further I got along, the more I realized that the developer of this game either is doing this on purpose and wanted me to make this video knowing that I would shit all over this video game, or they've never watched a video of mine in their entire life. I don't know which one of those it is, but it has to be one of those two. It has to be. Anyways, let's start from the top, shall we? You spawn into the game, and to your right is a tutorial on how to play the game. Fantastic. You jump into the tutorial and it is extremely lackluster and very self-explanatory. Nothing wrong with that because that's going to be the game. The game is going to be extremely lackluster and not very interesting. After you get out of the tutorial, it's time to fight some enemies because you're going to be doing a whole lot of that. And it's the point where I can actually say that I was probably the most impressed with the game in its entirety. The enemy AI, when it comes to AIs with ranged weapons, actually run away from you in order to use their ranged weapons instead of just standing still or running straight at you. You'd think this would be a more common trope in a lot of these games, but it honestly isn't, and so seeing it is a good thing. Listen, with this game, we're gonna have to take all of the little wins that we can. Now, very quickly, I would be fighting against the first boss of the game, the Huge Thief. And this guy, I wish I was joking, is the most involved boss fight I played in the entire game. And that 100% solely comes from the fact that he's able to summon fodder enemies to help him fight, something that basically no other of the bosses that I fought throughout my entire time playing this game for about an hour and a half ever were capable of doing. So, we've peaked right at the very beginning of the game. Not a great sign. Anyways, once again, I can say that a good thing about the game is that the bosses don't take 300 eternities to respawn. They come back almost instantly, and there's a very good reason for this. Depthless RPG, while disguised at surface level as an RPG, is actually just it's a clicker game. Yeah, this game is borderline no different than a game like Cookie Clicker or B-Game, and I wish I was joking. And the real easiest way to tell that that's the case is to look at the right side of your screen. Auto attack. If you put auto attack in your game, you have failed. Right from the get-go. You are telling me you're not making a video game. You're making a clicker game. You're making a time waster. Auto attack should never exist because it means that you've given up on making a video game. Because what this game actually boils down to is going, finding a boss, and then attacking it over and over and over again until it dies and drops one of its rare boss drops, which you'll use to go to another area to do the exact same thing. And you'll be doing that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's zero variation. Zero. You literally just do the same thing and they expect you to do it for like 3,000 levels? Are you kidding me? Oh, sorry, did I say 3,000? Sorry, what I meant was 232,000. You can't be serious. Guys, I know this shouldn't be something that I have to say, but quantity over quality is not a good thing to have in your game. If you have 232,000 levels, that doesn't mean jack shit if all 232,000 of them are the same. Anyways, the game's got other problems and things that just make me think that the people behind it didn't care. And so I can guarantee that the guy behind this game is going to see this video. Please leave in the comments how this stuff happened, assuming that you're not a troll or you weren't baiting me, because I just don't see how this is possible if you gave a remote shit about your own video game. I know it sounds harsh, but like, I can't make this stuff up. So like, you've been looking at the gameplay. These animations are stilted and awkward. No way around it. Your player attack animations are just really rough. It doesn't look like the sword that you're swinging has any weight to it, despite the fact that it's a big-ass sword. You use one hand to wield it, which is just extremely jarring. It doesn't make any sense. But probably the most interesting fact about the attacking animations is that they're not even accurate. This is like the one thing that you would be expected to get right, and you failed. I mean, you're seeing it on the screen right now. Some weapons appear to have attack animations that after you swing it for a little bit, then a hitbox is applied and then something takes damage. Whereas other weapons in the game just attack instantly. The second that you even wind up the swing, the enemy takes damage and gets hit. I just don't see how you could ever begin to make the argument, I care about the video game I'm making, if you give so little of a shit that you don't even match the swing windups to when they do damage. Like, how could you possibly do that? It's impossible. That's how. You can't. Now, the other major issue with this game that just sort of screams, we don't give a shit, please give us money, is the fact that there is zero variety between the weapons that you pick up. And when I say zero, I literally mean zero. As in, every single weapon is the same. So if you're at level 0, you can dash, leap, parry, block, and auto attack. And when you're level 257, you can dash, leap, parry, block, and auto attack. At no point do you gain any other abilities aside from the current ones that are listed on the right side of the screen. At no point. If I can play for over an hour and there's never a point where the abilities that I have change, we've got a problem. A real f***ing problem. I mean, come on. Do I need to even lay it out for you? I feel like I don't. Now, in fairness, the one thing that I can sort of give the game is the fact that when you do actually choose to play the game, and if you do manage to go somewhere that's slightly over-leveled for your area and you're under-leveled, the combat in of itself is pretty satisfying and works well enough. Most of the time. Basically, when you see the AI start the attack animation, you press the parry button, and 99.9% of the time you'll parry the attack, which deals damage and stuns the attacker and leaves you with an opportunity to attack them. The attack windups are very obvious, and I can appreciate the readability of them. That being said, we have to go back to animation quality and laziness because every single boss that I fought in the entire game, along with every single enemy that I fought in the entire game, was exactly the fucking same. All of them! They attack with the exact same animations, they do the exact same pattern of blocking, block for the exact same amount of time. It's the same. Every single time, it's the fucking same. You could literally, if you removed the damage numbers and the level, if you showed a boss from level 1 and showed a boss from level 200, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You just straight up. It would not be possible. If I ask you which one of these is level 1 and which one of these is level 200, and I hit all the numbers, it would be impossible. You couldn't do it. That's a problem. A massive problem. Now, I think the real kick in the balls where I was like, okay, this game has absolutely no hope, is when I got to the desert level. Because, yes, I understand, it's a desert, you know, haha, barren wasteland, it's a desert. But this place is f***ing ridiculous. Up until now, every area has been relatively small, a small corridor where you just push forward through a couple enemies, then there's a boss, and that's it. But this area, oh my god, why? It's filled with so much empty space, and oh, Eclipse, it's not empty space because there's enemies. Oh yeah, you know, the guys that I can kill in one hit or just ignore and walk past, those guys? Yeah, what a riveting fucking thing to have. Thank God those are there. Or how about these houses that for some reason they let you enter? But why the hell can you even enter them if there's no reason to do it? There's never anything in these. And if there is one specific house that you can enter, that's f***ed up. I got to the point where I got a quest that told me that there's an area behind the waterfall and I needed a key to get back there. And I looked around for this key, could not find it for shit, and went, yeah, no thank you. I'll pass. What's behind that waterfall? Well, I bet you it's a singular boss with the exact same attack patterns that I've already fought against. So what the hell do I care? After playing for long enough, I came to the real nail in the coffin for this game. As if this game already didn't feel like a lost cause, this was like stabbing a pitchfork into the already dead and beaten horse. I went to a snow level, walked all the way up the cliffs, and what awaited me at the end of the level? A f***ing snowman's. Of course it's a f***ing snowman's. That's when it hit me. This is just Blox Fruit. This game is literally just Blox Fruit. It's the same f***ing game. You fight against brainless NPCs that barely do anything to fight back in order to raise your stats to an absurdly high, ridiculously overkill level cap. This game is literally just Blox Fruit, but without the things that people actually like about that game. And so it's at this point that I have to be brutally honest, as if I haven't been already, to the developer of this game by telling you that you are extremely lucky to have the player count you have for how shitty your game is. Extremely lucky. And you have the privilege to expand upon this platform and maybe make an actual video game out of this dumpster fire. Do I think you will? No, because like I said, I think there's probably an even higher chance that this was just a bait to try to get more eyes on your game and you didn't actually care what I had to say. But if you do, I hope you can recognize that there are people out there that put hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into thinking about how all of their game systems are going to work and how to make an actually interesting game. And you put together Blox Fruit, but without any of the interesting parts, and went, all right, yep, that's good enough, call it a day, slap 230,000 levels on it. It doesn't matter how pretty your game looks or how stylish the effects are when you put on armor, if the game itself is dog shit. And the game itself is dog shit. The creativity on display here is borderline non-existent. You made one level and then you copy-pasted that level like 50 times. If you somehow are still incapable of understanding that copy-pasting the same level 50 times does not make for a good game, I don't think I can help you. For the sake of fairness, if beating up the same exact cloned enemy type with a different skin on it over and over and over and over again for probably upwards of 100 hours sounds fun to you, I'll link the game in the description for you to check it out. But for those of you out there who don't think that sounds like fun, don't bother, this is a waste of your time. Anyways, with that said, I am wrapping up here. I don't have anything else to say. If you enjoyed the video for whatever reason, you can leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, don't. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.